Game day brings its ups and downs, celebration and disappointment, anxiety and relief, friends and enemies. You can always argue over who should have won, but everyone can agree. Game day brings its ups and downs, celebration and disappointment, anxiety and relief, friends and enemies. You can always argue over who should have won, but everyone can agree on great food. Appetizers, entrees, drinks, party platters, or even the taste of sweet victory. There's something for every season at Eat With Us restaurants.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 5.
Welcome into Mississippi Live Weather 5. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lawpon, live here in Prentiss County. You can see over my shoulder there, we are in Wheeler for our Mississippi Live Game of the Week. It'll be Okolona taking on the folks up here in Wheeler. Again, appreciate the good folks at Casey Lot and Langston Lot for sponsoring our Game of the Week. I had to be outside to start off the show because it's just been a beautiful day. If you smell closely, though, there's a little bit of smoke in the air. Our Mississippi Live drone high above us here. We have not been able to pick up, I think, on the camera here, a very good shot. Again, I'm waving up there to that drone for a moment, but we'll tilt that kind of back up, if I can get the tilt direction correct there to begin with. You'll note that from time to time, we have seen some smoke plumes out there across the region. I think some people maybe burning debris after the ice storm could have been one of the things that's going on. There's the direction I was trying to see some of that smoke there toward the horizon. We have had, at least from Union County, some reports of some of the fires getting out of control there. Hopefully this one that we're looking up in Prentiss County, kind of that'd be east of the Boonville area, is one that's been under control. We've seen some controlled burns, but the winds have been a little breezy out there today, so some concerns obviously related to that. Again, here in the Wheeler, we have that mix of cloud cover you see, what we call altocumulus clouds out there. And some moisture is going to be coming in. We have some showers, and actually looking back toward the west, toward the setting sun, and also one of those showers that eventually we're going to be tracking a little bit closer. So again, as we look at our headlines for this evening, the shower and thunderstorm chances, one of those that we are going to be contending with there. We're going to have rain tonight. We are going to have potential for some thunderstorms. I think hail, not an impossibility out of the heaviest of those storms. It's going to be a weekend of transition as temperatures begin a big tumble. And I think we're talking about temperatures down in the low 20s by next week. That is back to some legitimately colder weather into the extended forecast. Will precipitation line up with that? We're talking about that in more detail here in a minute, and the answer is probably no, thankfully. Hour-by-hour forecast for the first 12 here. We're 63 at 6, 55 by 9, 52 as we head toward midnight. Again, rain covered up around 40%. There will be some thunderstorms that mix in from time to time. In general, though, we expect most of the storms, again, will be well below severe limits tonight. That said, maybe one or two hailstones, not an impossibility, with 40s out there for early tomorrow morning. And beyond the morning, we expect drier weather to be the story on your Saturday, eventually. But as you can see on those temperatures right now, coming at 65 degrees in Tupelo, 66 in Boonville, a little bit of a breeze, a little bit of a cool feel to it. It's certainly cooler than it was when I left the house a little bit ago there. 67 in Houston, 71 degrees in Eupora for those current temperatures. Looking at Mama Justice Doppler radar, a few isolated showers in and around the region this afternoon and evening. One of those a little heavier. I think this is the one probably we were looking at a moment ago there, closer toward the horizon. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit closer to that, Gabe, if you could. Down there for locations the north of Houston. Again, pretty close to the Okolona area, so some of those Okolona fans might have a few things to say about that. But that's really only moderate rainfall, and I don't see any lightning. Actually, Gabe, make sure lightning is enabled down there on the bottom, and as well as our lightning counter. If you click, yeah, not a whole lot of lightning strikes, certainly if we had any of those out of that at this point in time. And kind of widening out, you can see on our Futurecast there, again, showing those showers gradually kind of heading northward over the course of the next hour or so as they kind of slip northward bound. The dew point is one of the things I think keeping us from more significant chance for some shower and thunderstorm activity. Notice that measure of moisture 70 down toward the Gulf Coast. That's where there's a severe threat for tomorrow. For us, we're in the 30s. We're in the dry air portion of this. It's going to take what we call elevated storms to produce what could be a couple of isolated hail reports later on tonight, if that is something that we end up contending with there. So again, looking at Mama Justice Doppler radar, you can see our stalled front largely south, connecting there and showing up with some of the showers kind of riding over top of that. We do expect the coverage of showers and thunderstorms to increase over the next couple of hours here. As you can see there, looking at Futurecast, more often than not, again, these are going to be below severe limits, but you do see by 10:30, 11 o'clock, this does have a little bit more red, a little bit more yellow showing up on that. So not impossible, again, that we could have a couple of hailstones with this on the north side of this low pressure center as we head into tonight during the overnight time period there. Really time frame from really 10 to maybe around midnight to 1 o'clock in the morning. We're going to stop that a lot more coming up here in just a moment as we break down that potential. But I think if we're talking about hail, the stones should be below severe limits. Hopefully that will be the case there. So as we look at the hour-by-hour forecast over the next 24, tomorrow morning prior to dawn, we will have some showers. After dawn, that coverage diminishes, sliding south of here, and temperatures mid-60s for tomorrow. It's gonna be a while until we're back that warm again. These northerly winds bringing in much, much cooler temperatures. Coming up here in 60 seconds, we'll look at just how much cooler those temperatures are going to be. And again, we're at our Mississippi Live Game of the Week, so we'll be able to talk a little bit about that game upcoming. Or Ethan Foster briefing me on some of the stats. The game starts at 6 p.m. here. It is the girls for Wheeler against Okolona. We'll have that in 60 seconds. The Mississippi Live weather continues here from the Room to Room Weather Center next.
When you've been injured, don't settle for a lawyer who doesn't even know where you live. Call Langston and Lott. Local lawyers, personal service, real results.
Save today at Room to Room's President's Day sale. 55% off furniture and mattresses, 20% off accessories,
and 24-month special financing.
The time to act is now.
Room to Room Tupelo, where we know there's no place like your home.
As a bankruptcy firm, Mitchell, Cunningham & Bowling realizes many people are worried about their finances. We're here to guide you through the next steps to restart your life with easy video appointments. New clients don't have to leave home to get information about becoming debt-free. Also, convenient in-office appointments are available at the low cost of $340 upfront for a Chapter 13. You can be on your way to being debt-free. Contact Mitchell, Cunningham & Bowling today or visit our website at mcdebtfree.com. We are here to help you.
Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's Mississippi's Chief Meteorologist, Matt Lobhon.
Well, I'm outside of Wheeler, the gymnasium here for our Mississippi Live Game of the Week. Gabe, you got the wrong Game of the Week up there. I know we had it working this week, so we'll have to probably load that one. I know what it is. You didn't have the one in there that had the pink on it.
Yeah,
that's okay.
graphic.
We'll have it at 6, and that's okay. If you'd had the full, I was expecting you to have the full screen one, so I wasn't too worried about having the full screen one there, since I had to get the drone down out of the air a moment ago. So we'll go ahead and set up here in the parking lot as opposed to try to make it inside there. Again, our Game of the Week, we're excited to be here in Wheeler for that, and we'll talk a little bit more about that here in a minute. 65 degrees current temperature, feels like 65, though that north wind has a little bit of a cool feel with it this evening. If you're venturing out and about, a light jacket probably necessary eventually. And looking up here toward Prentiss County, not much showing up on Mississippi Live. Mama Justice Doppler radar at this moment in time here. Kind of widen things out a little bit. Again, those showers remain pretty spotty, but we do have kind of that fetch of moisture, or the grouping there that have kind of popped up here. Not particularly impressive there, closer to Aberdeen. As we mentioned, up there near Okolona, one of those spots where it's just a little bit heavier. Back toward around Charleston, another one of those showers that we're monitoring there. So none of these I'm looking at this point are terribly impressive, but I mean, not impossible that you could end up getting just a little bit of hail out of these later on this evening, a possibility, believe it or not. So again, appreciate our friends at True Shield Roofing. We'll be able to utilize the hail tracker here on more detail if that ends up being something that we end up contending with. But as you'll note here, those showers, again, still spotty, but we're in the development phase of what should be more over the next few hours. Temperature coming in around 65 degrees right now in Tupelo. It's 70 at this instant there in Greenwood, but 57 in Cleveland, 59 degrees Clarksdale. The Delta not nearly as warm this afternoon, and we're all going to be dropping as we head throughout the next 24 hours. So notice here on Futurecast, between really now and say 7 p.m., the coverage of showers increases. Now, this is overdone. Let's be crystal clear. I think we're going to have a lot less showers than what this indicates. And I think the positioning might be slightly too far north on where it has some of those, like depicted there, closer to Baldwin and back toward Water Valley. I think that probably could be a county south of that, closer to Grenada and maybe Houston at that point. But I think those storms will lift just a little bit. And notice the coverage increases a bit more as we head towards, say, around 10 p.m. or so. It is possible that a couple of these could be just tall enough, just strong enough to produce a few isolated hailstones. I think we have said the word hail too many times at this point here. Most of us will not see that. This is moderate to heavy rainfall, really at most. There is no tornado threat out of this. As we mentioned a moment ago, that dew point, that measure of moisture based on the same scale of temperature, that is not high enough to support that. But it is to possibly have a couple of isolated hailstones. There I did it. I said it again. Notice a greater quantity of those as we head here closer to, say, 11:30, closer to midnight, down south of Winona, closer to Ackerman and French Camp there. A few that are maybe somewhat heavier. So again, it's not impossible to get a couple of heavier to stronger storms just on the north side of the system, even as late as, say, 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. We were talking about this last night, and that perhaps Futurecast was underdoing it just a little bit as it's come to this. Certainly, it's showing a lot heavier amounts there by that point in time. Notice, though, once we get past really 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning, things should start drying out a bit more. And then beyond that, it's going to be relatively dry as we go into your Saturday and your weekend forecast. So low temperatures on your Saturday. We're going to start off somewhere in the upper 40s to maybe low 50s. And all those, again, well above that 38 we typically should see for a low temperature this time of the year. As you progress through your Saturday, it's just that colder air starting to slide in from the north and west behind this. Again, mostly cloudy skies. And temperatures, maybe we'll say mid-60s, but I think on the north winds behind this frontal system, it's going to feel cooler than that. So if you're venturing out and about, keep that in mind. Okay, I've got to stop here for a second. I want to show you what I think is one of my favorite types of sunsets. I'm going to flip around here instead so you can hopefully see that sunset here behind me for just a moment. Oh, is my phone going to... Is it going to really focus in on that? Oh, it does the blurry thing because it thinks it wants me. I always focus on me. Now I want to see what's behind me, unfortunately. You know what? Who cares? Give me a second here. It's going to disconnect and reconnect so I can look at the back camera. So give me just a second. So flipping it over there, I think it's just a really pretty sunset. Anyway, when you own your own weather business, you can do that. Let's keep it that direction, Gabe. Bring it back with the graphics back on there, and I'll just leave it that direction. You don't need to see me. I think we all need to see a sunset after a week where it's just cloudy and never gets sunny, right? So let's just leave that up there. So 54 at 9 a.m. on your Saturday. We're 60 as we head toward noontime under what should be, again, mostly cloudy skies. And then, again, going through the day and into Saturday afternoon, again, we remain relatively cloudy. And those temperatures on north winds will definitely have a cool feel to them as well. So high temperatures, we're going 68 in Amory, 71 degrees in Columbus, coming in somewhere around 57, though, for Senatobia, 54 for South Haven, and 55 degrees in Tunica. So that is the colder air already moving in, and you can see the big impact that has. If you're going to be out, say, 10 p.m. on your Saturday evening, we're going to be in the mid-30s for wind chill temperatures. Wind chill more of a factor as we head forward beyond this by early Sunday morning. We're 24 for what it feels like. We're 32 for the actual temperature. That's right, back below freezing because it is still February. But despite the fact that it has felt much, much warmer than that recently, we're 38 by 9 a.m. there. And wind chill temperatures probably low 30s for kind of their minimum values early Sunday as the cold air still spills in. We're only 47 by noontime. And as we head into the afternoon, expecting temperatures to work their way into the low 50s, but still keeping it well below where we've been recently and a little below our normal for this time of the year. And as we head into your Monday early morning, notice we're teens out there for feels like temperatures, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and then starting down around 16 for that wind chill temperature, and actual temperature at 26 for early Monday morning. Obviously, it is going to be a lot cooler, and with midday temperatures only upper 30s and low 40s, say, for peak temperatures on Monday. Get ready for the other side of winter, but notice there's not winter precipitation to go along with that, thankfully. But again, the coldest air with that probably as we head toward early Tuesday morning with that. Man, Gabe, how many days a day did I put on this? I apparently left open all the way to Tuesday. Well, as you can see, Tuesday is a cold day as well. I had one more day of Futurecast on there than I intended to. So day planner on your Saturday there. Again, as that sun goes below the horizon, we're going to have some rain chances overnight. We'll have some pre-dawn on Saturday. We expect the conditions will probably end up drying out as we go through the day. A 7-day forecast gets us again where we're in the 40s by Monday for highs, and then low 20s by Tuesday of next week. It is going to be a lot cooler as we go into the the latter portion of next week. We'll get a little warmer once again, back into the 60s, so it's not a big burst of winter, and there's no winter precipitation, so it's just cold as opposed to something else. Now, Gabe, give me that second here as I'm going to flip this around, so keep the graphic up here for a moment, and I'll try to bring it back to my... Okay, now we can bring it back on here if you want to go ahead and do that. And again, our game of the week, we are here in Wheeler. You can see Okolona pulling up here in just a second ago. It is playoff time here for our Mississippi Live Game of the Week presented by Casey Lott. And I do think Gabe has our graphic ready to go, so we'll go ahead and give that forecast this evening. There are some showers out there, and we know we do have some other games around the region going on tonight, so that's where those percentages come in. Tip-off time here, 6 p.m., and appreciate Casey Lott for sponsoring our Mississippi Live Game of the Week. It is pretty nice out right now. I'm in a very, very light long sleeve, and it's a little bit cool. It'll obviously be cooler later on tonight. Some of those rain chances do increase a bit more. Okay, so Okolona and Wheeler, and this is something we'll talk a lot more about coming up at 6 o'clock with our Ethan Foster. This Okolona, in one form or fashion, at least the third time that we have seen an Okolona team so far this year. I'm trying to remember if we had 2 times during the football season, but it's at least 3 times. First time, though, making out the Wheeler, and we're excited to be able to kind of feature this game again with the girls tonight. The winner of this game is going to take on the winner of West Tallahatchie and Blue Mountain. That game also ongoing will be going on at 6 p.m. tonight, and they will meet up next Wednesday at ICC for the next round of the playoffs. It's interesting to see how this one is going to go down. Okolona's been extremely consistent on the offensive side, scoring around 50 points a game on their average, or at least when they win, they score 50 points. Wheeler, it's a little different story. Now, they've been able to get some bursts where they're scoring over 70 a game, and other times where it's closer to the upper 30s to lower 40s. So they've been kind of back and forth. Wheeler is the higher seeded team, hence the reason the game is here tonight. But Okolona is ranked 1 spot higher in the official rankings, so it is about as even a matchup as you're going to get. We're excited to see how this one plays out. I think we'll have at least a little bit of this live during our 6 o'clock broadcast. And speaking of that, our Ethan Foster will have highlights related to this tonight at 10 p.m. here from the Room to Room Weather Center. But at 6 p.m., we'll be looking in more detail at the matchup ongoing here. It'll be ongoing at that point in time, and we'll be able to talk to him about his pick on who he thinks is going to win our Mississippi Live Game of the Week. That's coming up here at 6 p.m. From the mobile Room to Room Weather Center. We will see you then live from Wheeler. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lawpon for Mississippi Live Weather.
Why does it matter that kids pay attention to dental health?
Yeah, so I always tell patients, their teeth should be like breathing or walking. You just do it. You don't think about it. You just chew, you smile, you talk. Once you know how to do those things, you just do them. And if you have something that doesn't feel right or feels off, it just creates a disability or something that messes up your day. And so if you have to pay attention to that, that's something we should try to help and alleviate. to make it so it is like breathing or walking, like it should be.
So teeth should never be a distraction for a kid who's in school trying to learn. If they've got pain, that's something that's keeping them away from that.
Absolutely. That, you know, one in 5 children, 20% of children have dental disease, and it's the most prevalent disease process in children. So anytime we can rectify that and make it better for a child, they can concentrate in school better, they can participate in athletic sports better, they can do all sorts of other things without having to worry about their teeth, just like breathing, walking, those types of things. It shouldn't be anything they have to think about.